How are we all doing? 800, nearly spent, half a decade. Question is, do we need another rebuild? Well, let's sort of go through it. We're going to run through a little bit of hit and miss signings, see if we trust this geezer, with the funds going forward. This transfer window is open, 18 days into it. Still sort of nothing yet, especially for the summer. But first off, sort of before we go into that, I want to more sort of talk about squad area completion, right? So can anyone explain to me why over £750 million has been spent in half a decade and we haven't even completed a single area of it yet? It's madness. I don't quite sort of get it. And I want to start with the goalkeeping area, yeah? Because when Arteta came here, we had Emilio Martinez, who's since gone on to win a World Cup, by the way. Only a tiny little feat, isn't it? And obviously, he was part of that FA Cup winning squad in 2020 that Mikel Arteta was in charge of. And I quite fondly remember seeing Emilio Martinez at full time, in Wembley with the FA Cup. He was quite teary because he'd been with Arsenal for quite a long time, quite a few loan spells here and there. And, he was quite sort of emotional, and you couldn't get quite attached to players to a certain extent, of course, when you see them emotional and happy to win something for Arsenal. But we binned him off for £16 million. Very, very, very frustrating. 80 million later in that department, we have Raya, who, to be fair, I don't mind David Raya at all. He's all right. I don't mind him. And backing him up is Norbert Neto. Bit of an issue, isn't it? So there's a department that in itself isn't sort of fixed. And then you sort of move on to the defence now. So that's probably the most stable part, I think, of our squad, yeah. And by that, I sort of mean Saliba and Gabriel, solid, absolute solid. Up there in Europe, really two young defenders, ceilings extremely high, especially Bill Saliba. Gabriel's been actually the better of the two this season, but I digress. Then you move over to the right back, in the last 2 seasons, you've obviously had Urian Timber, who's had a bit of a bad time, didn't he? Pretty much all of last season. And Ben White's been injured for a lot of this season. But if you sort of take injuries out of it, and 2 bad injuries, that's sort of not too bad, is it? The right back sort of side of things. I think that's relatively sort of locked down. But it's the left-hand side where you start seeing disasters after disasters. And I'll tell you why. So Tierney, just like Emilio Martinez, was also there and also part of that 2020 FA Cup winning side. He's been plagued with injuries, yeah, but he's had a long sort of time there, and he's still our best-sided left back, best left-sided defender. Absolutely is. But since then, we've spent nearly £155 million, by the way, on trying to replace him. How's that worked out? We've signed Nuno Tavares. Not really worked out. All right, bit of a low signing, low. I think he signed it for 7 million, but it hasn't worked out. We spent 35 million on Zinchenko. That hasn't really worked out. 40 million on Calafiori. So far, it's not working out. Yes, he needs time. Sadly, we haven't really got time to give him. We've signed Kivior. Yes, I know you could argue left-sided centre-back, but he's also played there. We've had Tomiyasu sort of in at that point, but I mean, Tomiyasu, he's never sort of fit, is he? We've spent a lot of money on that left-hand side. When you actually think about it, on that left-hand side and the goalkeepers, Emilio Martinez and Kieran Tierney, they were already there. They were 2 fixed positions, and they're not old. When he was already there, I think Emilio Martinez must have only been young 20s, and Kieran Tierney probably young to mid, maybe 23 or so. I think he's only 24 now, so 27 now. So you're knocking on the right sort of doors. So we've spent nearly, listen to this, £250 million trying to replace a goalkeeper and a left back, and we're nowhere near even doing it yet. Absolutely nowhere near doing it. It just doesn't seep into my nuts sometimes that's how much we've spent on replacing a fixed 2 positions and breaking them. It's fucking madness when you actually think about it, really, isn't it? And then that's just sort of starting. But let's sort of move into the backups or the squad in general as a centre back as a whole. Why haven't we replaced? Why haven't we signed a right-sided centre back? I don't really understand it because you only got to look 2 years ago, yeah? Basically, Saliba's injury completely and utterly ruined our chances of winning that Premier League. We had a wafer-thin squad anyway, but as soon as we played, I think, was it Sporting, wasn't it? And we got Tomiyasu injured, but most importantly, Bill Saliba got himself injured. That's that. The defence started to crumble. That was 2 years ago. Why have we not learned that in 2 years' time, we need someone to be able to come in and take his place? Now, maybe he was banking on Ben White being able to come in and then having another right back. But then where's your backup right back? You can't just always have this versatility, mind, because you get one injury to Ben White and all of a sudden you haven't got a right-sided centre-back and you haven't got right back. So it works both ways. You know, you sign one player to cover 2 positions, but when he's injured, 2 positions haven't got covered. It's not really hard to work out, is it? And I just don't understand why, after 2 years, knowing that a Bill Saliba injury could be detrimental to this defence, why, oh, why have we still not signed another right-sided centre-back? And then that's also to the point. So let's have a look at Calafiori and say, okay, Aaron, well, Calafiori was signed to be our mainstay left-back. That's all well and good, okay? Let's just say that then. So who's the left-sided centre-back? Because the same thing applies to the right-back. You cannot have Calafiori playing left-back and left centre-back. If he gets injured, then both positions are exposed. So really, you know, whilst also being part of what I believe is our best department in terms of all around the field, the defence, there's still massive gaping holes there. Massive gaping holes. And then you go into the midfield, yeah, which I believe is an absolute mess. It's a shambles, that midfield. And it wasn't 2 years ago. It wasn't completed, but it wasn't a mess that it is now. So let's look at Thomas Partey, yeah? It is at that base of that, right? He's at that number 6, which I believe is perfect for the way we play Thomas Partey. Injury prone, yes. Aging, yes. Bit naughty outside of football, absolutely. But I get the Rice signing, yeah? Totally get it. And last season, let's not pretend he's not had his best season this year to Declan Rice. But, you know, even last season he was fantastic. But he was fantastic and not really competing Thomas Partey because Thomas Partey was injured for the vast majority of it, wasn't he? So, you know, he was collecting man of the match after man of the match after man of the match. Fair dues to him. But the problem is they can't play together. Why can't they play together? Because we play a 4-3-3, which means that one of them absolutely would have to go to a left 8 or a right 8. But Odegaard's at right 8 when fit, of course. So then you've got this little conundrum of you've got 2 really good 6s, and we have 2 really good 6s, but only really one of them can play. So we're trying to shoehorn Declan Rice into the left 8. Now, I know there's a lot of people that think Declan Rice either is or is a good candidate at left 8. I'm not one of them people. I believe that he is a number 6. He is a ball winner. He naturally, when we're on the defence, you can see him naturally want to tuck into that sort of centre-back. Why does he want to play and tuck into that? Because he was a centre-back growing up. He played the vast majority of his youth age as a centre-back. Naturally, and you know, I didn't play at any high level, but as I was rather a centre-back who did at times go into midfield, I can understand and appreciate where he's coming from. That natural want to pull back onto that back 4. It's just a natural thing. And you see when balls are whipped in, especially last season, you wanted to see him tucking in almost as that David O'Leary 5th centre-back, you know, 3rd centre-back as such, you know, as in the back 5 as well. I said the 5th. He's not a left 8. He just isn't. So then that leaves a big, massive answer. Who is the left 8? Mikel Mourinho? I don't think so, mate. He has not hit the ground running. He has hit the ground like he's just been thrown off the team bus. That's how we sort of hit it. So we've got no left 8. Mikel Mourinho is absolutely not the answer. Don't be fooled. He scored 1 goal, was it last week or whatever? Don't be fooled by that. He is not a good player and absolutely not the answer. And for 35, 40 million with 1 year left on his deal, it's a little bit worrying. Back quickly to the Declan Rice thing is why I don't understand why we don't ever play it. Is if you want to play Declan Rice and Thomas Partey in the same midfield, I don't really understand why you don't play a 4-2-3-1. The players would know the system. You'd have Declan Rice and Thomas Partey sitting there, both just double pivoting. I don't really understand. And of course, then you'd have Odegaard being able to play in that number 10 central role a little bit higher up the field because God knows he needs to start creating more. And then you'd obviously have your wingers and then your attackers. I don't really understand why we don't really do that. But listen, there's a gaping void, absolute gaping void left since Granit Xhaka's only one good season at Arsenal, by the way, out of the 6 or 7 that he was here. And it's not 35 million Mourinho to do it. So you've got the left-hand 8. That also isn't completed then. The central defensive midfielder, we've said we've got Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. But hear me out. Declan Rice will be the only one there in the summer because Thomas Partey and Jorginho are probably going to leave. There's another little void. So let's move over to the right-hand side, yeah? And I'll come to the chat in 2 seconds. Let's move over to the right-hand side. We've got Odegaard. Fine, Odegaard. He's been all right, hasn't he? He's been, in some games, he can be exceptional. In some games, he has absolutely gone missing. Hence, a name Ghostagard. That's fine, but he has been on a natural decline this season. There's absolutely no doubt about that. He's been on a decline. He hasn't got anywhere near as many assists as he did 2 years ago, because we're not playing the same football as we did 2 years ago, not even anywhere near attacking. I think he's only got 3 or 4 goal involvements, I think, in about a year, or it might not be as bad, but it's there or thereabouts, which isn't fantastic for your only creative spark. It's nowhere near good enough. And his shooting, by the way, Jesus Christ, he cannot finish for toffee, can he? He is absolutely shocking in front of goal. That has dramatically got worse, because I can remember 2 years ago, he was hitting long range efforts. And not only were they going in, they're at least on target. Now they're just scraping along the floor depressingly. They're either, when he's hitting or getting any form of power behind him, they're fucking ballooning above the stadium. It's not really good. So, I would prefer a better version of Odegaard and then have Odegaard drop down. But let's just say Odegaard is our number 1 starter there. Where's his backup? Oh, yeah, that would be 35 million signing Vieira. How's he doing? Oh, yeah, we loaned him back to the club that we signed him for 35 million from for absolutely next to nothing. That's where he is. So we haven't got a right-sided left 8 either, really, to either properly compete with Martin Odegaard. That's not a title-winning midfield. I'm sorry, you look at Arsenal. So let's just keep it within Arsenal for the time being, yeah? Look at our title-winning midfields in 1998. You had Patrick Vieira. You had Emmanuel Petit in that base. Look at 2002. You had Gilberto Silva. You had Patrick Vieira still. And look at 2004, Gilberto Silva, Patrick Vieira. You had the Edus could play in them positions who actually weren't too bad either. Do you know what I mean? Look at it now. Thomas Partey, Odegaard, Mikel Merino. Are we talking about title-winning midfield here? I personally don't think so. And then we're going to go step up. Before we go to the tackle, I'm going to go to the chat just very quickly, yeah? Because I'll end up burning through it and ignoring people. And I don't want to do that because I appreciate every single one of you here. Lee, big up, brother. Lee in the chat, people, yeah? Lee Sharp. You said you'd swap from Arteta in to Arteta out. Is that still the case, bud? Aces, big up. How you doing, man? For Arteta, yeah, no more money. Yeah, P45 immediately. Yeah, so I think there's going to be a common theme of this, mate. Dazza, how you doing, brother? Geezer who sits next to me at the Arsenal. How you doing, fella? How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing good. Hope the little one's doing good as well. And obviously Dad as well, chipping in. Let's be honest, you can't rebuild with Arteta at helm. Yeah, your owners love him or are too afraid to get rid of him. Yeah, I mean, Dad, you're talking absolute facts there, mate. And he says, Cronky only care about money, no trophies. Again, 100% fact tasters, man. Hope you're doing good, bud. Dazza had it out with some deluded fan the other day. He was saying Arteta is the best man for our club. Yeah, man, this is what I'm saying. It's far gone. I told him Harvey Price would do a little better job. Hello, you beep. I won't do it. It's only 11:30. But yeah, you get my drift. Yeah, Dad knows they doing Papa K. Yeah. Zubimendi won't be signing for us in the summer. Yeah. What's that all about? Yeah, do you know what I mean? That signing. I don't really get that. You know, why is that coming out now? And why is it another CDM? Do you know what I mean? If we're gonna be getting anyone as our priority, why is it not bloody striker? I just don't understand it. But yeah, Partey leaving in the summer window. Yeah, that's sort of what I'd alluded to. Yeah, you probably wrote that before I got to the midfield. But yeah, you got Thomas Partey and thank God Jorginho sort of going. So I do get the Zubimendi sort of deal, but you know, let's just focus on all of our negotiating on a bloody striker for this month, shall we? Do you know what I mean? As opposed to bloody a central defensive midfielder in the summer. It's frustrating, isn't it, mate? Hendo, big up, brother. Yeah, and all in the chat watching. Yeah, big up, man. Big up, mama as well, my dear. Hope you're doing well. Rebuild, yeah, it's more like an ongoing demolition. Yeah. Oh, listen, yeah, you're absolutely right in that player words there. It's frustrating, and And, that's why I'm sort of doing this particular stream, because it's frustrating that with 800 million spent, nearly, 750 million spent and half a decade to do it, we've got such gaping holes everywhere in this team. There isn't a particular department that is even remotely fixed. Some of it ain't too bad. Some of it's half sustainable, but it's not even remotely fixed. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And we're going to go through all of his signings as well. That is sort of made to date with a lot of misses in there. Do you know what I mean? Easy, yeah, 2-0 victory today. Yeah, I think so. Newcastle are absolutely flying. You must be buzzing, Mama, with that. Absolutely buzzing. It's cloudy and chilly. 2 degrees. Is that where it is here? I'm not too far away from you, I don't think, Hendo. I don't know. I just bung the eating on, so I ain't too bad. Yeah, I wouldn't say easy, but I think we'll win. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I'm just going to come down a couple more, and then I'm going to carry on with that attack, because let's get it right. That attack is an absolute shambles, people. Today will either be a draw or a narrow victory at Villa. Yeah, man. I think I was talking to you last night, Aces, about it briefly in another chat. I'm fairly sure it was you. My heads want to say 2-2. So we've had a bit of a torrid time at Villa at home of late. I think if we're going to win it, it's going to be like a 2-1. I can't see it being a 1-0. I can see both goals for teams, and I can't see it being like an emphatic 3 or a plus goal for Arsenal. I think if one team's to win it, it might be 2-1. But I'm going to go for a bit of a Desmond. And nice and sunny up here. Yeah, the football's nice and sunny up there as well, isn't it, Mama? I'll give you that. And I'm just going to get to my mate Craig. Havertz in midfield. Don't even fucking start, mate. Yeah, come on, Craig. Havertz, just Jesus Christ. We all know what happens when we have to say his name. Yeah, madness, isn't it? Attack, yeah. Come on, man. This is the most embarrassing of the lot. It's an absolute shambles. Look, Bukayo Saka, when fit, the right-hand side, he's starting. That's absolutely dumb. But what about his cover? Now, Mikel Arteta had Pepe when he got here, right? And he binned him off very quickly because the emergence of Bukayo Saka, which is absolutely fair enough because Bukayo Saka is an absolute baller. But what about his cover? What about a bit of cover for him? So now Neto, yeah. So Neto's gone to Chelsea, 50-odd million, I think was it, and probably a similar price for Elise, who went to Bayern Munich. Why is that not achievable? 50 million quid, both of them Premier League proven, for 50 million for a winger. That's not that bad, but we're not doing these jobs. So we've got then the right wing that needs some attention. Perhaps not in the starting, because you're not going to get too many better right-hand side starters than Bukayo Saka. Let's just get it right. But don't worry about that. We've got Marquinhos coming back. That player that Edu signed for 3.5 million when he was actually free to build good relations, and then he fucked off. Yeah. Oh no, wait. Marquinhos has also fucked off as well. So we haven't got any cover at right side. Oh, but we do have Raheem Sterling. No, let's not even get into that. Raheem Sterling. Do you know what? Yeah. And this is the quality of Arsenal fan, right? So I was at the North London derby, obviously at home, watching Raheem Sterling just embarrass himself for about 60, 70 minutes or however long he stayed on. And when he got subbed off and his number come up, I booed him. And I mean, I loudly booed him off. And the amount of looks and comments that I got shouted down at me. One of them's going, how can you boo your own player? And that sort of level. And I turned around and I don't know where it was coming from, because I sit quite low in the upper tier, so it could have come from anywhere. I just said, for a start, he ain't an Arsenal player. He's a fucking Chelsea player. And he ain't even a fucking good one at that. And he's been shit today. But that's the quality of Arsenal fan at the Emirates Stadium for the vast majority of it, Like, can't boo Chelsea player Raheem Sterling for pulling off an absolute stinker in the North London derby. What are we doing here? What's going on upstairs? And a lot of these fans, and they're nuts. What's going on? But yeah, the right-hand side, sussed at the start, not so much when it comes to a bit of backup, yeah? So let's go to the left-hand side. And we've got Martinelli, yeah? Who, as I always say on here, has fell off a cliff and into an absolute infinite manhole. But don't worry, Calafiore and Mourinho are here to unlock him and save the day. But they can't even fucking unlock themselves. So how can they unlock Martinelli? And the proof's in the pudding. It's mid-January, and all three of them are still absolutely shit. So, mid-left, 2 years ago, almost to the day, do you remember all that Mudryk hype? Mikel Arteta knew that we needed another left-sided midfielder, left-sided attacker 2 years ago. Do you know why? Because he tried signing Mudryk for 80 million. But we signed Trossard instead, which turned out to be a good signing for a year, and now he also couldn't give a fuck. So that left-hand side is absolute gaping void. Trossard's probably off in the summer. Martinelli, no one will buy him and pay him the ridiculous 108 grand K a week wages that he's on. So we're stuck really in that sort of attacking wing area, aren't we? Absolute stuck. And then we come to that striking point, yeah, that focal point. 3 or 4 years ago, we had Aubameyang and binned him off because Arteta can't really handle big players, can he? And he's proved that over the time. He don't like him, he bins him off. Maybe for the right, maybe for the wrong. Who knows? Who gives a fuck? But why haven't we replaced him? Why does it take this manager so long to replace him? Because he'll say to you, we're waiting for the right player. Now, let me tell you, that is an absolute cop-out. We're waiting for the right player. Look, we're in an era where we're not really that blessed with a lot of strikers. And I mean, like world-class strikers, not like the late 90s, the noughties. Some of the 10s, yeah, there were still some goods. But, it's gradually faded off. The amount of world-class strikers out there absolutely has. So we were waiting for them. 2 years ago, we wanted Isak. And we decided against him. Let him go to Newcastle. And now we want him for 3 times the amount of money. And they're not going to sell him. So what are we waiting for? Oh, Gyökeres, he's got a release clause. Why are we still waiting on the 18th then, if that's who we're waiting for? Who is it? Benjamin Sesko? You telling me we cannot sign a fucking player from Leipzig? Is that what people are telling me? We're waiting for him. What are we doing? And why has it took 4 years for that? Who's there? I just don't understand it. So listen, yeah. So we 800 million, yeah. Nearly 800 million spent. That's 3/4 of a billion, yeah, in half a decade. And we need backup goalkeeper, a left back. We need a right-sided centre back. We need another central defensive midfielder when Jorginho and Partey leave in the summer. We need another right 8 to back up Odegaard or ideally replace him and push him down. We need any left 8 that any of them are going to be absolutely better than this shit that Mikel Merino is and the rest of them that we've got there. That's at 6, yeah? And we need competition for Bukayo Saka. That's 7. We need another left winger. That's 8. And we probably need 2 strikers because the ones that we've got here are absolutely shit. 10 players. And this is why I've labelled it as, is this a rebuild? Because we need 10 players. 10 fucking players. How much is that costing? How much is that costing to get them 10 players in? It's probably going to cost exactly the same amount as he's spent already. Let's just bare bones it, yeah? Let's just bare bones it for the minute. And let's just say, do you know what? All right, next summer, we're not going to get the 10 players. That's too much to do in one summer. Could have done some of it this summer and in this winter, but I digress. We'll be here for all day trying to convince top gooners that that's an actual sensible way to go. So let's just say we just want to sign in the summer a proper starting left 8, a proper left winger, and a striker. 3 positions, yeah? You think, all right, if they're the right ones, we'll do that. Do you trust, this manager to get all 3 of them right, as in a striker, the right left wing, and the right left 8? Do you still trust him? And that's still going to cost, probably a good $250 million in its own. The striker's going to be 100 north, isn't it? If it's going to be Isak, and it won't be, but if it is, it's going to be 150 million just on the striker. Then the winger's probably going to be about 50, 80, depending on what one you get. And the left 8's probably going to be around 50 itself. You're between 200 and 300 million quid. Do we want to trust this manager with that amount of signings? Let's have a little look at this manager's signings. I'll do that. I'll tell you what, I'll come back to the chat and then we'll have a little look for every single signing that this manager's made, yeah? He says, lovely sunny day. Yeah, it definitely ain't here. I'm in the same place as Hendo. Yeah, I've forgotten what sunshine looks like. Yeah, to be fair, it ain't been too bad the last couple of days. Not sunny, but it's not been icy out there. I don't mind a bit of cold, to be honest with you. It just pisses me off having to scrape it off the window screen. All right, let's just have a little go down. Right, Mama, yeah, the cult of Arteta was strange to me. My dear, it is just baffling to me as well. My brain will never, ever, ever work it all out, man. Honestly, my dear, I do not understand it. Kenneth Baguna, big up, man. Always good to see you in the chat. Big up, yeah, and big up to you. Don't forget as well, if you haven't already, drop a like and a subscribe. It massively helps. Mama's saying, yeah, we've all had managers that we have supported, but Arteta is just weird. Mate, he is up there. my dear. He is absolutely up there with one of the weirdest, freakiest managers I've ever seen. He's more interested with his little makeup mirror and making perfect symmetry in his eyebrows than he is doing in-game tactical managing, which actually is probably the worst I've ever seen in my entire 35 years of watching football life. He's absolutely basement on that. Yeah, I can't be blindly supporting him. Yeah, everyone does, honestly. And like I said, let me just briefly go back to me booing Raheem Sterling. One, I've got a right to boo him. I paid a lot of money to go and watch this team with him included in it. Two, he's an Arsenal fan. He's a Chelsea player. And three, he was playing shit. And he has been shit all season. Why can you not boo him? Madness. And then you get comments. I have people turning back round and looking at me and giving me proper dirty looks. I couldn't give a toss, by the way. Couldn't give a toss what they were doing. But the dirty looks I got and some of the comments on it because I booed Raheem Sterling off. Of Chelsea shit player who's underperformed in a London derby at North London derby at home. Come on, man. It's madness. Yeah, big up Aaron. Yeah, bloody hell. Yeah, should have been. Yeah. Streaming it this time. Listen, I'll tell you why I'm streaming it this time, mate. Because in New Year's, like I'd never done this before. I usually just do it when things sort of line up well. But as you know, Ant, we've had a lot of chats off cam. I built a gym upstairs in my loft, a good one as well, not just a crapper. There's a couple of grand's worth of equipment up there. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to be eating a little bit cleaner, like a good boy. So I'm on a diet. I've wrote my own diet because I've got the MVQs to write a correct diet. And I've been off this. Like, so you can see, look, I'm drinking the bitch beers, 0% alcohol free. I've been drinking too much beers. So this month I've jumped on the old dry January bandwagon, and 18 days in, it's going well. And I just give myself just a little treat. It's unopened yet. I was going to wait till about 12ish to open it. And a little unopened treat. So yeah, I've lost like 4.5 kilos within 18 days. I'm stripping down. And that's why I'm up so bloody early, Ant. I've somersaulted out of bed instead of shitting the bed this morning. I fucking somersaulted out of it at 7:30. No headache, no anything. Almost like I might keep it up, mate. Like I'll have a beer every now and then, but yeah. Right, let's just jump back into this quick. Dad, what you saying? Don't care. Listen, yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, just while you jumped on that, I look at that every time I go to bed. Do you know that? Every single time. For what you people that you don't know, up here around there. There's a tiny little bit of grey on the ceiling where I hit it. And I don't know how Anthony managed to spot it, but he pulled me up on it and he said, oh, did you know there's a little bit of paint up there? And I looked, it bloody is. I look at it every single night. Do you know that? And I think, fucking Ant, why has he done that to me? I don't do anything about it, so it's my own fault. Dad, you're looking at buying 18-year-old, nine for midfield. The striker you're screaming for, where is he? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Arteta, the man who proves you can't stack shit. Yeah, listen, man, this is the worrying thing about trusting him, not only just with the money, but the players. It's okay giving him, let's just say for argument's sake, in the summer, right? Hypothetical. Arsenal and the Cronkies go, right, is £250 million, right? Do what you can, but, you know, on free players. One, who are we actually going to get? Do we trust him to get the right players? Because this summer, a massive pivotal transfer window, may I just add, because Man City didn't do much. Liverpool didn't do much. We had a real opportunity this summer to catch up. But what did we do? We signed Mikel Merino and Calafiori. I mean, like, this is what I'm saying. He spent 80-90 million on them two signings. We would have had a better transfer window if we signed no one and kept Emile Smith-Rowe. This is the sort of point what I'm trying to say about not only should we give this geezer the money, but he's probably going to get it. But do we trust him anyway with the money? I personally don't. And here's why, yeah? And here's why. So he obviously joined us a little bit earlier than this, but this is his first summer window, yeah? Because previously in the winter window, he signed Cedric Suarez on loan, and then he signed Pablo Mari on loan. So as you can see here, player departures. He's sold Emilio Martinez. This is all in euros, of course. So it's about 16 mil, I think. He'd get straight into the team. I like Raya, but he'd get straight into the team. Guendouzi would absolutely still get into this team. And that was just a loan fee. We loaned him out for probably, that's equating to about 700k. Madness, and obviously Mavropanos. Two good signings here, obviously. Thomas Partey, Gabriel Magalhaes. Can't knock him for that. Odegaard, loan fee, meh. But Runnison, Williams, Cedric Suarez. Matt Ryan didn't actually do too bad, to be fair to him. But this is where the real sort of damage starts coming in, man. So let's go up another season, yeah? So departures, right? So we've got rid of Willock, Lucas Torreira on another loan fee. This is just what I'm saying about trusting the whole thing. It isn't just with the money. It's about the whole business in general. Right, so Joe Willock, not a bad sort of fee, but he's come on all right at Newcastle. So I don't think, they'd be quite happy, I reckon, with that. But Lucas Torreira, look, 1.5 million loan fee, yeah? Then Maitland-Niles, half a fucking mil loan fee. And then here we go. Here's the free transfer problems, yeah? Kolasinac, free. David Luiz, free. Willian, free. Aubameyang, free. Chambers, free. Trusty, loan. Guendouzi and Bill Saliba, another loan. Reece Nelson, another loan. Pablo Mari, loan. After just loaning him and then signing him permanently. And then you've got Hector Bellerin, loan. Where's the money there? Okay, yeah, you got a bit of money for Willock. But where's your money? Where's your transfers? And then look, we go into it and we've got Ben White signed for about 50 million sterling. Odegaard, 30 million. Not a bad purchase. Okay, Aaron Ramsdale. We come in, sign him, decide we don't like him, and then sell him for significantly less. Tomiyasu, not actually a bad signing for the fee. When you think about it, probably about 16 million quid. But he's been injured for the vast majority of the time. So what's the bloody point? And here we go. Sambi Lakonga, he's told his next Yaya Toure, apparently. What's happened to that geezer? Nuno Tavares. What's happened to him? So we're talking, this is in 21-22. We've only really got 2 players there that are capable of somewhat starting for Arsenal. And Ben White, sadly, I'm all right with Ben White. But Martin Odegaard, I'm all right with him. But do you know what? If we could get an upgrade on him, buzzing. I'd happily have that. So that's our whole summer dealings. And then the departures, absolutely embarrassing. Let's go to the departures again in a year later. Matthew Guendouzi, who would get into our left 8, absolutely 100% would get into our left 8. Not because he's the best left 8 we can get, but because the ones that we've got are absolute shit. He's gone for 10 million. Lucas Torreira, who we signed obviously under Emery, not us, he's gone for probably about 5 million sterling, of course. Bernd Leno goes for about 2. Mavropanos goes. And then here we go again. All the free transfers and the loan transfers and the silliness of the incapable board that we've got. Bellerin, Talar for free. Lacazette, Talar for free. And then he scored, I think, 20, 30 goals as soon as he got back to Lyon. Madness. Oh, Mari, another loan again. How did that work out? Madness. Tavares, another loan. Maitland-Niles, another loan. Pepe, 70 million signing, not Arteta's. Couldn't get rid of him. Loan. Runnison, Flo Balogun, a loan, And then look at the signings we made in this. This is why I don't trust him, yeah? Gabriel Jesus, 1 year left on his deal, by the way. Man City clearly didn't want him because they spent all of that money on a striker that's won them a treble, a 4p. Madness. 52 million. Fabio Vieira, where's he? He should have, by 2.5 years, be either overtaking Odegaard or battling with him. We've loaned him back to Porto for basically next to nothing. And Zinchenko, 35 million quid. How's that worked out? Madness. And then you go to that winter window, and then you've got Trossard, not really bad on the face of it for the money, but he's not interested no more. Kivior, 20 million. Absolute shocking. Then you've got Jorginho. He's had a couple of good games, but not really what you expect. Oh, and here we go. Marquinhos. Who'd ever forget Marquinhos? 3.5 million signing when we could have got him for free. Absolute batshit crazy. It's not looking good, is it? The amount of money that he spent now getting to the freeze in the 400 million quids. And who's really starting in there? No one's starting. You'd only probably have Ben White and maybe Odegaard still to this point in your starting lineup for all the signings. So let's look at Declan Rice signing. Good. A lot of bloody money. Lots of bloody money. But still, we're here. Kai Havertz, man. This geezer. Look at the dough. Look at the club that we got him from. Laughing all the way to the bank. Kai Havertz. Absolute shower of shit signing. We overspent on Declan Rice, yes. But Kai Havertz for 60, 70 million. No good. You're in Timber. Not a bad signing. We'll give him that. Absolutely fine. But then look at the departures again. Flo Balogun. Yep, not too bad. He ain't pulling up trees in Monaco. Half decent bit of dough. Granit Xhaka leaves for 14 million quid. And pretty much nearly wins everything in the German league. Matt Turner comes and goes. Who gives a toss? Pablo Mari comes and goes. Austin Trusty comes and goes. We loan out Kieran Tierney, even though he's the best left back at the club. Madness. Rob Holding. Somehow we get 1.2 million in for him. I don't know how. Tavares goes, obviously, in a loan fee. Oh, and look, Marquinhos, our boy's gone again. Nicolas Pepe leaves on a free. Look at Sam Likonga goes on a loan spell. Yeah, It's not looking good. Look at them signings now. At this point, we're spending about 500-600 million. You know, it's madness. Probably north of 600 million at this point. And then this summer, Calafiori, still wouldn't have him starting in your left team, would you? Mourinho still wouldn't have him starting on that left. And obviously David Raya is a starter, but there are better keepers out there. Then you look at the sales. Emile Smith Rowe. This summer, yeah? Of course. 30-odd million. Eddie Nketiah, 30-odd million. Ramsdale, 20-odd million. Look, Fabio Vieira, loan fee. And just our list of free transfers, like outings just going on and on and on. Look at that, though. We've actually pretty much made money. There's a lot of signings that you also made, or sales rather, with signing on fees. Sign-on clauses or whatever that we've made a lot of money on. We made money this summer. What's that all about? So do you trust him? After looking at all of that shit, do you actually trust him with some dough? I don't think I do. When you front it and look at all the signings that this geezer's made, I don't know, mate. I'm not convinced. Any of you boys convinced? It's madness. It's madness. Hendo, sorry. The more worrying thing is that the hordes of Arteta sexuals that are buying the shit that Arteta is stacking. Oh, mate, we're just going to be back to square one. Do you know why we're going to be back to square one? Because yet again, what happened when he took over? We had the Kolasinacs, the Mustafis, the Socrateses, the Bellerins, all of these sort of players, the Ozils, they're all sitting on absolute mega money in terms of wages. They're aging and they're all pretty much average to shit players. Now look what we've got. We've all got players that are at the minute not doing what's required to Arsenal Football Club. They're all on astronomical wages, and we're not going to be able to sell them. And if we do sell them, it's going to be at a cut price because no one can afford their wages. What's just happened then? We've just fucking looped back round. Last half a decade, we've just looped back round. We've just got a prettier squad. That's all. Madness, mate. 250 million. Yeah, that's a lot of hair products. That's a lot of hair products for Arteta. Big up, mate. 100%. We need a rebuild. And yeah, this is the sort of point that I'm making, man. We are absolutely in a rebuild. And Dazza, yeah, FC always, yeah, but we can't have Arteta doing it again. Listen, yeah, this is the issue, right? So before I sort of wrap up, let's talk about just that. Now, we're stuck in a little bit of a weird one here, yeah, with Arsenal with Arteta. Purely because, one, he's just signed that mega deal. So getting him out is going to cost us north of 40 million. Probably the best 40 million we'll ever spend this decade. Let's absolutely bloody get that right. But we've got to get him out so he does enough damage that he's sackable, but not enough damage that the good players want to leave and another good manager don't want to come in, don't want to say, oh, fuck that. How do we do that? Where is that little point? Where is that bar that says, you know what? Arteta ain't really doing it for us. And then a new manager like an Ancelotti will come in and go, yeah, Arsenal are in quite a steady place. Let's get it right. If we get to the summer and we're sixth out the Champions League, Bill Saliba's going to want to go. 100%. Gabriel's going to have his head turned. Bukayo Saka's probably thinking, what the fuck have I joined? Declan Rice will have his head turned. The problem is, as well, is we're not in Champions League football. So does Carlo Ancelotti want to come in and go, right, well, all the players want to leave at Arsenal. The owners aren't spending that much money anymore and probably will not give me what I want anyway. All the best players are leaving with no Champions League football. Why would an Ancelotti or an Inzaghi want to come into that? Like what AFC always, big up, bruv, good to see ya. Why would Inzaghi want to come into an Arsenal that are out of Europe and their best players want to leave? But that's probably what it's going to be. It's probably what it's going to take to get Arteta out. So you sort of see this little weird circle that's going on. Like, if we were Chelsea under Abramovich, what would have happened is a long time ago, but let's just say, for argument's sake, this season in its isolation, Arteta would be gone. Absolutely gone. Ta-la. And then someone else would be in to do the job. But Arsenal and the Cronkies, they just haven't got the bollocks, have they? And it's not just a recent thing. They haven't had the bollocks for a long time. Do you trust them? I don't. I've been done with Arteta a long time. He says, Will Saliba will be a Real Madrid player in the summer transfer window. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. Tyson, big up, mate. I'm sure I see Rashid's chat sort of quite a little bit. Another rebuild. Yeah, what you on about? He hasn't finished the first rebuild. Yeah, I get you, mate. That's sort of like part of what I'm getting at. Yeah, it's just been 5 years of wasted time and money now. Yeah, listen, this, mate, it's the point that I'm basically saying, Tyson, mate. We need another one. That's what I'm saying. This rebuild, like you said, it's not even finished yet, but it is finished under Arteta. Like, we're not getting any better. Like, we peaked 2 years ago. Look at the players we're signing now. Calafiori and Miguel Mourinho to take us to that next level. I don't fucking think so. They're taking us down a level. They should be third choice in their positions. Maybe Calafiori, you know, in a year or two's time, maybe he'd work his way up from that. But Miguel Mourinho and Calafiori, as it stands, are a second choice, maybe for Calafiori at left back at best. And you know, it's going down here. But Miguel Mourinho is a third choice. He's one of them players that you've got in the squad that you should be trying to offload. I don't really understand it, mate. And you make another good point here, just while I'm looking at it. Yeah, is talent ideas the issue? Every player is a downgrade from the toxic squad. Yeah, and you know, this is what you might not have been here at the start of what I was sort of saying, but I sort of opened this show up with basically saying about the departments and none of them being fixed yet after half a decade. So I'll regurgitate it slightly, and I won't go onto it too much. Arteta started his tenure with Kieran Tierney at left back and Martinez as the goalkeeper. £250 million later, we've got a shitter version of Martinez and a shitter version of Tierney. Make that make sense. £250 million later, and he's signed two shitter fucking players in the departments. And not just two shitter players, a whole host of players to try and fill them positions. And he still hasn't got it right. 250 million later on two positions. And he literally broke two fixed positions with £250 million. £250 million, and Mikel Arteta broke 2 of the 11 positions in the squad. Make that fucking make sense. When you sit there and you just like put comments and things like that in their isolation, and sit there and think, all right, he's spent £250 million on 2 positions that are now shitter. You think, fuck me, that's madness. That is actually madness. That is. How'd you do things like that? £250 million on there. Jesus, look, that could have got you, especially in them seasons that he's taken, that could probably semi-fix us now. That could get you a top striker and a top winger right now. 250 million. And he spunked it on 2 shitter positions. It's madness. Calafiori 4 injuries since he joined the club. What's going on there? Listen, this is what I'm saying. He's signed to get away from, everyone says Tierney's an injury-prone player, which he's had his fair few. So we signed Zinchenko for 35 million. Who's injury prone. So then I'll tell you what we do. So because Tierney and Zinchenko are injury prone, what we do is we sign another player for 40 million quid who's injury prone. This is what the whole show is all about. Do we trust this geezer? Do we need another rebuild? Yes, we do. We fucking do. So we need 10 more players. There's the rebuild there. Do we trust him with the money? No, we fucking don't. Why would we trust this geezer with the money? Why? Like even if you just take the quality out of it, just exactly what I just said. Oh, they're injury players, so we need a backup. We signed another player who's injury prone. So then we sign another player over him who's injury prone. Who's next? Like I don't understand it. It's madness. Arsenal have sorry mate, let me restart that. Arsenal have only improved at centre back. Yeah, again I said the same thing at the show. You know, it's pretty locked down there. They're starting to. Yeah, Gabriel and Saliba. Of course, Saliba, yeah, he was Emery's, yeah, absolutely right. But the thing is, as well, as what I said at the beginning, mate, 2 years ago, Bill Saliba got injured, yeah? 2 years ago, not far away from the date. It was in the Europa League and we played Sporting, yeah? Obviously, at the Emirates, Tomiyasu gets injured, Bill Saliba. Yeah, no, you're all good. You're all good, bro. Tomiyasu joined and Bill Saliba gets injured, yeah? Bill Saliba gets injured against that team, and then we lose the league because absolutely that defence crumbles. The defence absolutely crumbles. That was 2 years ago that we lost Saliba to injury and lost that league title. Why have we still not signed a right-sided centre-back? Why have we still not fixed that issue? I don't understand it. Why is this manager so late to one, notice problems, and 2, trying to fucking fix them? Why? 2 years later. And the thing is as well about this Bill Saliba thing, if he gets injured today, or he's already injured, but I don't think long term. So let's just sack that off. If he gets injured in a month's time for 1 or 2 months, exactly the same fucking thing happens. This time we actually haven't got title to lose because we're fucking not even in the race yet. Do you know what I mean? We're probably back in the race if we've still got 10 games to go and we're about 2 points behind. A win at Anfield. That's when we're back in the title race. At the minute, we're not. Having no Saliba, we could be in exactly the same position 2 years later. he still doesn't sign anyone. He's so late to the party, this geezer. We needed an attacker a striker for 4 years. Why has he still not signed a striker? I don't get it, people. Like, it's fucking madness, man. When you start saying things out loud and then you start listening to these things, you start thinking, yeah, this sounds a bit fucking weird. Sounds a bit crazy, and it is. It's crazy, mate. Like, what we saying here? Yeah, he spent 800 million. They're the only ones he wants from the youth or Emery. Yeah, man, this is what I'm saying. It's facts, bruv. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I noticed you joined, lad. That's all good. I don't mind sort of bringing the bits up. But it's good, man. If you're saying the same points I've already said, it means that people in this chat got their fucking head screwed on. Thank God, Tyson. Do you know what I mean? Thank fucking God for that. AFC, yeah. Wenger won 3 cups in 4 years. What has Arteta done? Yeah. Janet Jackson said, mate, this is what I'm saying. You think, yeah, Wenger, even in his shittest period, won it 13-14, 14-15, and then 16-17. Thankfully, I was at that 16-17 FA Cup final. It was absolutely magnificent. Yeah, what's Arteta done? What he's done is he's binned off every single player, virtually, bar Saka, who didn't play in that final in 2020 when he won it, and hasn't even come close to a final since. He hasn't. He's got to 2 semi-finals. One of them was against Liverpool, when, to be fair, we got a good draw away at Anfield. I think Granit Xhaka did he get sent off, and we had it with 10 men. Yeah, that was all well and good, and then they took the piss out of us at the Emirates. And of course, I'm sorry, but 2-0 at home down, 2-0 down at home. Sorry to Newcastle. I'll get it right. We're not coming back in this, so we're still nowhere near a final. Couldn't even get to a Europa League final. Like not even anywhere close to it. This geezer's useless, mate. Hendo, bruv, big up, man. We signed more overpriced Dross and Deadwood than what was already at the club when Arteta took over. Exactly, bruv, man. It's beyond scandalous. Yeah, Marquinhos. This is what I've already said already. We all know it, man. He paid 3.5 million for a free Marquinhos, and all he's done was just loan him. It's madness. If there's any transfer piece of business to show up how inept this regime or Arteta, who's got to take some of the flack, but it's that signing right there. It's absolute bonkers, mate. Yeah. So it's been 4 FA Cups in 5 years, and he's also done the same with the Carabao Cups. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of like you wouldn't mind it. You really wouldn't mind it if he had 2 Premier League titles in his coffers. Do you know what I mean? If he'd gone, yeah, but to be fair, all right, yeah, we've been 4 FA Cups in 5 years, but we won 2 Premier League titles in that 5 years also. I'll go, yeah, all right, obviously we all want more trophies, but you'd sort of go, yeah, all right, I get it. Yeah, you won the league. It is what it is, but we ain't fucking done anything. Absolutely nothing. It's madness, man. What's mad is he bought Kiwior that January and still used Rob Holding, man. No, don't, man. This is what I'm saying, Tyson, when you start reading things out and then people are listening like I'm listening to what you're saying now. It's fucking mad, isn't it, mate? It's bonkers. It's madness, mate. Like, my brain, it might not be the biggest, it's not the smallest. It'll never understand what goes through. Like, even fans that want to support this shit. Like, we've covered a lot of bits today in terms of, like, his signings or the departments and things like that. When you actually sit there and now you front it, you think, why the fuck would we give him any more money? And look how many players we still need in this squad for it to really be sort of whole and complete. 10. And that's with that would take 10 of our next signings to be absolutely right. This manager takes about fucking 5 players to even somewhat get it right. Most of the time he gets it wrong. So if we need 10 good players, probably it will take him about 40 players to fucking get them. And in that time, the fucking 5 good players that we've got are fucked off. Come on, man. Let's talk sense here. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, FC Always. Apparently didn't train yesterday. I got text by one of my mates, Craig Overton, and he may or may not still be in the chat. And he's that he might be up for 2 weeks. I sort of said this while I was on Rashid's show last night. Big up Rashid as well. Basically, like, if he has got a little niggle or whatever, I'd just rather him be out of today's game. You know that. And by that, I mean, not because I don't want him to play, obviously, but because if like what Arteta does is he plays people through niggles and then they get injured long term. Why? Because we've fucking seen God knows how many players be out for long term injuries under this manager's tenure. I would rather him not play today just so he can just whatever niggle or whatever issue he's got, get over it, and then next week you're fit. Don't play him today. If he has got a weird little niggle where you're a little bit, I don't want him to do that. He could pull it, twist it, whatever his niggle is, and then he's out for a fucking month. If he's out for the next month, say, because we played him today, and he's got a niggle, we're in trouble. Guess what? I know why we're in trouble if we lose Saliba, sorry, because 2 years ago we lost him and we were in fucking some deep trouble. So we've been here before. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're making it up, is it? We're going by previous facts. I would much rather, and I'm interested to know what any of you think. I'd rather just go, yeah, all right, Bill, you've played a lot of football, mate. Take fucking today off. Recover. You can midweek Wednesday, don't play, and then next Saturday, you know, if he does get a little niggle, we've got Man City at home in about 2-3 weeks. It's there or thereabouts. I think it's early February, so 2 weeks. I'd much rather him playing that game. To be fair, I want to, even though this is the Man City game and it's not first v second, it's not a title showdown. I want to fucking beat Man City still. Do you know what I mean? I still want to be able to turn up, and we're not going to be able to do it very well without Bill Saliba there because he dominates Haaland mostly, and no other centre back really does that. So yeah, I'm quite interested to see what you boys think. Daz, I smoked you, bruv. Big up, man. That's some interesting screen profile pic you've got there, and all. I've just sort of half paid attention to it. Must have been doing some of that when you was a little bit stoned out your fucking brain. On that, done with Arteta. If we was to somehow nick the league this season, I'd still sell my season ticket for next season. Yeah, the whole deep throating Arteta vibe will send me over the edge. Daz, you're lucky you weren't at that North London thing, mate. I think like would have probably had a bit of an argument, mate. Honestly, the some of the pelters I got because I booed Saliba off was fucking madness, mate. Like I got called some names, man, because I booed Sterling off, not Saliba. If I just said that, because I booed Sterling off, it's fucking bonkers, yeah. And I don't blame you if you did want to sell it, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got to that point, and you know me, I would never miss games, and it's got to the point where I'm not going today at full time. I sold my Manchester United FA Cup ticket, and this is at Newcastle, yeah? When we lost 2-0 at home, I sold my Manchester United FA Cup ticket, thank God. Swerve that. I sold today, and I sold, I think, is it Zagreb at home? One of them, the Zagreb ones, because my missus is going to be working, I ain't got a car, but either way, like, that's only just worked out. I sold all 3 of them because I didn't want to fucking go. And then this is the point that's all sort of coming out with the Arsenal, man. You're falling out of love with them a little bit. And it's not just maybe not falling out of love with them, but I'm losing faith in them, losing faith in this team. And I've absolutely lost faith. I cannot believe that there is an amount of something in my body that has such little faith in Mikel Arteta and other humans as possible, as much as I do. I have no faith in the geezer. Absolutely none. Why? Because he showed me over the last 5 years he don't fucking do anything. Absolutely don't do anything. And no, I know, mate, I've only done 2 games this season. Yeah, I forgot about that, Daz. Madness. Down to family commitments. Yeah. But if he was playing the football, it's love for us. So I managed a few more games. Yeah, that's it, man. Do you know what I mean? Look, you don't mind sometimes losing or getting bad results when you're playing well, but we're doing both, man. I know we just beat Tottenham 2-1, but fuck me, come on. It was hardly phenomenal, was it? The football's been absolutely shocking, mate. This was the biggest eye-opener for me. Ramsdale bought for 30 mil. Performance for him and his value out 50, 60 mil at the end of last season with Arsenal. Yeah, and look what happened. Yeah, I think you're probably gonna say it in your next little bit here. Hold on, I've just scrolled all the way down. I'm terrible with this fucking chat bit. Yeah, I'll take a news contract. Yeah, living in Bentonville. Yeah, selling for 80 million. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, I knew he was gonna say that. It's madness, isn't it? Madness. Like, how have we managed to do that to Ramsdale and lose money on him? We signed him for high money anyway, and we end up losing money for him. It's batshit, man. It's absolute batshit. Yeah, Dazza. Hendo says this to me all the time, mate. Yeah, you save money and time. And the time's the more important one, yeah. Best to sit back and watch TV and streams. Quality of football was dire. I gave up my season ticket back in 13. Yeah, don't regret it one bit. Saw the signs back then. I'll tell you what, fucking old Nostradamus Hendo, mate. Yeah, fair dues, you're right, mate. Yeah, for the Bible bashers, yeah. The reason we have no faith is simply down to Arteta. Exactly right, mate. Nothing else. He hasn't got it and hasn't been proving it for 5 years. This is it. None of us are Mystic Meg. Do you know what I mean? None of us are Nostradamus. We can't predict anything. But what we can do is go by what's happened before. And this is the exact correct point that you're making, Tyson, mate, is that we can go by history. And for 5 years, half a decade, £750 million spent, we are still fucking nowhere near winning the Premier League. We are still absolutely nowhere near winning the Champions League. We're not even anywhere near winning the fucking Carabao Cup, for crying out loud. What are we doing? Yeah, shit, Spurs. Yeah, it's absolute shit. But yeah, on that sort of note, I'm going to watch a little bit of football. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will be back Monday, I think, to do another Monday Night X. Going to try and get some guests on there. Probably going to be about 9 o'clock-ish if I do it. But other than that, come on, you Gunners, for later, I suppose. You know, I'm not really expecting much. Probably about 2-2. Hopefully this geezer don't start. But guess what? He probably will. Why? Because we ain't signed any fucking strikers. Most of them are all injured, and there's no one else in the squad. Absolute embarrassing settings, really, when you think about it. But buzzing, people. Have a good one. Hopefully, I'm on later, maybe as well, talking about an Arsenal win. It would be nice, wouldn't it? But until then, have a good one, people. Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy your Saturday. Buzzing.